Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
Welcome, listeners. Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast. I'm your host, Con John Turk. On this episode, we're going to cover the future of flagging. Joining me to hash out this topic is Matt Eastling, CEO of Flagger In-Car Alert Systems. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, Con, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit about
your topic?
Yeah, obviously, it's close to home, and for you and your company, I think it is the future of flagging, getting things more instantaneous, and we just need to hear about it because it's coming down the pipe, whether we like it or not. So
I think it is. I think there's a day. I don't know. I was talking to somebody today. I don't know if it's 2 years from now or 5 years from now, but I think there's a day where in-car flagging is as standard in racing as a helmet and a Hans and seat belts. It's just too useful of a tool, and it's so important that I do think it is the future.
Yeah, and as technology progresses, there's going to be a lot of things that will help us racers be more alert. One of the things that comes to mind for me is I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know how long you've been racing. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the Buckler flaggers, so in the NASA Mid-Atlantic region, we used to have flaggers, one per row of a standing start, just in case somebody stalled. We don't do that anymore.
Wow.
We have to be more heads up. But as soon as somebody didn't move, they were waving all their yellows right down the line. And I think it would be as easy as a smash of a button in a control center. But I'm sure we'll get into how all that stuff could work potentially.
I never saw that. I was a late bloomer. I didn't get into racing. The first time I ever got on track, I was 41 years old. So,
wow. Okay.
I just didn't grow up with a sports car. I mean, I grew up in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Raleigh, and I just had a big old Pontiac Grand Prix when I turned 16. And my good friend Ken Nair, he's a photographer. He was taking me to Road Atlanta, and one day he said, "You need to come with me to VIR." And I was like, "Where?" And I was going to NASCAR events, and actually I was going to Petit Le Mans with him, and he was kind of teaching me how to take photos. And anyways, and then some friends invited me to. They're like, "You should be driving. You should stop taking pictures. You should be driving. You would like it." And so
everyone should be driving.
Yes,
is my opinion. Everyone.
Yeah. Well, it really does make you such a better driver on the street. I mean, one day, I had been doing DEs for maybe 3 years, and I had this little Ford Focus Econo car. I had the whole family in the car. A Jeep pulled out from a side street and realized I was there. And of course, what did they do? They stopped and right in my lane. There was no way I was going to not hit that vehicle. I mean, I was on the brakes going straight. And I think before ever racing, I would have just turned the wheel and probably slid right into him, right? But with the new skills that I had, I looked into the oncoming lane and I was like, I could make it. So I got off the brakes, got back on the gas, and just went, right onto the incoming lane and right around him. The whole family was screaming. And my wife was like, "How did you do that?" And I was like, I don't know. But I mean, I do know. But being on track, what you learn makes you a better driver everywhere. But my first time ever on. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I agree. Obviously, it's sort of an obsession for me now. I'm racing. I have the podcast around racing. It's all encompassing for me. So
Yeah. Well, so my first time on track, they invited me. Like I said, I was 41 years old. That was 2011, and it was to a NASA Mid-Atlantic event at VIR. And I was going to take this old Audi that I had. So I paid for it, paid for the event, got signed up for DE1, and I'm getting ready to go, getting the car ready, and I found so many things wrong with it. I was like, well, I told my friends that invited me, I said, I'm not going to be able to make it. I said, the car's just not, I got locked up shock. I got a fuel pump, the mounts are bad. I'm missing bolts from the drive shaft, from the output. Anyways, a friend had a 1997 M3 gutted with just a roll bar and a Kirky racing seat in it and some really bad belts, but it was good enough for DE. And he said, just use this. And I said, well, I'm going to have an instructor. I need a second seat. And he had one in the garage. He put it in. He's like, just use this. He says, if you money shift it or you wreck it, you bought it because it's for sale, $7,500. And I was like, okay. And I did spin it in turn 4, my second day, but I managed to keep it off the wall. But I loved it so much that I bought the car from him on Thursday. Yeah. So, and my next event was Road Atlanta, Santa's Toy Run with NASA Southeast in December. And I love my wife. She's like, well, if you're going to do this, I want you to have everything. So I want you to have a suit and a helmet and one of those neck things. And I was like, great. So went out and had all the equipment so I walk into DE1 classroom with a full fire suit on, gloves, shoes, everything.
Oh yeah.
But so I'm safety minded, I guess. And so is my whole family. But, I did the whole NASA. I did DE1, 2, start doing 3. And they're like, you should instruct. And I'm like, I can't instruct people. I don't know. And they're like, yes, you can instruct. You have a lot to offer someone who's never been on track before at this point. I had been driving. They had to push me every time. I'd be in DE1 and they'd be like, you need to be in 2. I mean, oh no, I'm not fast enough for 2. And they're like, yes, you are. And so they pushed me into 2. And every time they pushed me, and they pushed me into instructing. And of course, at some point you find out you're out there and you're racing and you just want to be closer to other cars. You're like, the fun part is when I'm close to other vehicles.
Right.
And I love this passing without a point by stuff.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, you get so frustrated. You come around a turn and you're in a point by group and you're gaining on this car, and you let off the throttle, so that you don't pass them, and you're waiting for that. And of course, just then they put their arm out once you've lost your momentum. So yeah, that's why I keep going back. I just love when we grid up for the beginning of a race, and that's what I'm there for, man. I mean, when we're gridded up and 15 cars are running into turn 1 together, I just love the first lap of a 25-minute sprint race. And so that's what keeps me coming back, and all the friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you racing these days? Not that old M3, I bet.
No, that car didn't fit anywhere. It just didn't fit. Like, I looked at Spec 3 and I looked at Spec E30 and Spec Miata. I think Spec Miatas, maybe. I still have a love for Spec Miatas, but Spec E46 was a growing class at that time. I mean, it's still a growing class, but it was very young at that time. And I knew Evan Levine and I knew Jason Tower that started that class, and talked to them a little bit. And so I had Shree Racing build me a car. I'm an okay mechanic. I will do some of my own work, my own brake work, fluid changes, this and that. Control arm changes and stuff, but I don't trust myself on a car that goes 130, 140 miles an hour. I like having Shree look over the car for me, and he catches stuff that I wouldn't catch. So when you're going that fast, I like to have somebody who really knows what they're doing. So he built the race car for me, and I'm on the original car, not all the original body panels,
Right.
and I'm on the original
Thunder. So
yeah, I race in Thunder, and remind me later today about the one time that I brought out the red flag, but but it is on the original motor. I have slightly money shifted it before, but nothing that just required taking the head off and some new valves and cleaning up the pistons. But I'm on my original motor, so it's been a really good car. I'm on my original transmission, so it's been a fantastic car. Just a ton of fun. But so I'm a spec E46 person. I tell you, one of my best memories of racing, real quick, was I put a new shifter in the car, and I went to a BMW CCA event, and I'm having troubles with it. It won't go into fifth gear, and they have 45 spec E46s signed up for this race, and everybody showed up. And
sounds
so we
like
go
a
out
good
for
time.
qualifying. Oh, well, we go out for qualifying, and I can't get the car into fifth gear. So, I didn't qualify very well. I qualified 45th. Okay. And so between qualifying and the race, I finally got it adjusted correctly. So, but it was thrilling to start off at the very back of 45 cars. I mean, the front of the field, we're coming down through hog pen. I can't even see the front of our class. And it's just nothing but cars, in front of me. And, of course, I couldn't see the green flag all the way to the very back, but it was so fun. I got the hard charger award. I think I ended up 19th or 21st. But, of course, there was a bunch of people that were new to racing or new to VIR. I think I passed like 8 cars before we got to turn 1. I need to find that video somewhere. That's probably one of my best memories. You would think it would be starting from the front row,
Right.
but that was a blast.
Well, you can do that every Sunday. You can do it every Sunday. Just come late to grid for Beast of the East in NASA Mid-Atlantic region. They'll put you all the way in the back, and you can make the run. There's nothing. You only get 5 points for participating, so go have fun with it.
I love Beast of the East.
I do too.
One of my most memorable races was up at Summit Point, and I'm racing this Mustang, and he's passing me on the front straight every time. Brian Tillett, I don't know if you know Brian Tillett, in a blue Mustang sideways.
Yeah,
blue and
I'm
silver,
familiar.
but he passes me on the front straight every time. And I passed him back somewhere between 1 and through the carousel every time. And we went back and forth for, 10 or 12 laps. We had a blast. I didn't know who he was. But, after the race, I just got on my scooter and went looking for this car. And I pulled up, and he's like, "Are you the black 770 Specky 46?" I'm like, "Yep." He was like, "That was so fun." And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun out of class. You get to learn the dynamics of the guys around you. I enjoy it. I'm in a front wheel drive car, but when the Spec 3s get mixed in with us, I learn a lot about the dynamics of those cars. And it really helps, way off topic, but here it really helps when you get faster and you start passing the back end of those fields, because you know the dynamics of those cars and you know where they're weak and where they're strong, and you just learn how to time them better. And it's honestly been very helpful. I'm probably going to have a whole podcast on all the benefits of running something like that. So
when you race with the same people over and over again, you start to learn. And I love Ted Ambrose, but he hates traffic. Okay. And he was very mindful of his racing. I don't know if you know Ted, but at the beginning of a race, it takes him time to warm up. He knows his tires are cold. He takes it easy. And then, you'll pass him, but he'll come on later, and he'll gain on you later once the traffic's cleared. But at the beginning of these Beast of the East races, I know. And when I see his car, I'm like, oh, he's on the right. I need to be on the left. I'm like, oh, there's Ted. He is not going to be fast. And at the beginning of this, and I've got to get around him. So it's a super fun. I really enjoy that Beast of the East that Chris Cabetto from NASA Mid-Atlantic. I don't know if you could say he invented it or whatever, but I'm glad that he made that change, and I'm glad he's keeping it.
Yeah, he definitely implemented it. I don't know if they invented it, but it's a good time.
Wherever he got the idea. Yeah, it's a good time.
So earlier you talked about being safety conscious. Is that what pushed you to develop the Flagger in-car alert system?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's the number one thing, whenever I retire from racing or dead and gone. I mean, if I can leave it safer. I mean, when you go into these DE1 classrooms, my son currently, he's 15, and he's been into his first 2 DE events. The first thing they talk about is flags. I mean, that's the first thing they talk about. And I remember my first time, like I said, it was a whopping 11 years ago, first time on track. I mean, your vision is so narrowed. I mean, it's like looking through a tube. I mean, none of those people are looking around at corner workers, I mean, they're just not. They're working on staying on the track and surviving, and you and I would laugh at how slow it is now. But I remember how thrilled I was that first weekend at VIR, running that BMW M3. I mean, it was so fun, but I probably didn't see a single corner worker the whole weekend. So for me, we've already had racers come to us and say, that if it wasn't for that flagger going off, I never would have seen that car, would have hit it. We've had so many good people coming to us and telling us these good stories. I know that we've already kept cars from hitting each other, and that means it kept people from getting hurt. So that's what, drives me and makes me happy. But I'll tell you a couple. So the first thing that sticks in my mind, I'm racing. I didn't finish my car. So when I did my Specky 46, the first things I did was just all the safety equipment. I did everything that would make it be passed to become a race car. So it was, the sunroof delete, the cage, the seats, the fire system, all that. It had none of the performance stuff of Specky 46.
Yeah. You went to the CCR and built your car, and then you worried about your Specky 46 rule book later.
Yeah. Yep. And I actually started off in what performance touring. It was PTE. And so I was actually at first running with Lightning. Your stock car was a PTE car? Yep. That's Xavier Calderon was in charge of the PT.
And he was running in a black CRX.
He came to me and he's like, your car's a PTE, the way it is. We called it Specky 46 Light. There were 4 of us running. There were 4 of us. 2 guys no longer race. Well, all of them. I'm the last that still races. They were all a little older than me. But we had 4 friends, 3 right here in the same county and 1 up from Virginia. We all started building Specky 46s, and we all had these cars. We did it the same way. And, well, what happened was the guy in Virginia, he heard how a fully built Specky 46 sounded. And he, after doing like 2 PTE races, he was like, I'm finishing my car. And then the rest of us finished our cars. So, but I went out, let me tell you the story. So I go out to Summit Point, and Summit Point still does hot pools, and we're racing. I'm in Lightning, and, I come around turn 10, and I see, a standing yellow at the start finish. And I probably checked up too much. Honestly, I probably, as a beginner racer, probably one of my first 2 or 3 races, I probably slowed down to 60%, maybe a little too much, but it doesn't matter, right? I mean, there's a standing yellow at the start finish line, and there's a waving down at 1. But these 2 Specky 30s, I don't know who they were, but they came flying by me, and they were just concentrating on each other. Okay. And as simple as that. I mean, they didn't see the person at start finish. They didn't see the person, at turn 1. And I mean, they're booking into turn 1, and I can see the tow truck lights and everything. All of a sudden you could tell both of those 2 Specky 30s saw the tow truck but it was late. I mean, and they both locked up brakes. It was just a dangerous situation, with somebody out of their tow truck, hooking up to a vehicle to get them out of the way. And that's the first thing that I saw. And I was like, God, like we have to do better than this, or we need to not do hot pools. So that was the first racing incident that I'd say I saw that made me think, man, we need something in our cars. And the one that I tell all the time that really sticks out in my mind was me screwing up. I'm coming into turn 1, and I'm following a guy named Jeff Blum, and he's following a guy named Patrick Harris. And I'm behind these 2 guys, and I'm like, oh man, I've got to run on them. And, we're getting to turn 1. As I step out to the left and start going around Jeff Blum, and all right, great. I've got this run on Patrick Harris, and I step up and I get up next to Patrick Harris, and there's this corner worker waving a yellow flag, and I just couldn't see through those 2 cars, and I mean, I could literally see the corner worker reaching up with his radio and calling in my car number for a pass under yellow, and it's like, I certainly didn't mean to pass under yellow, but I couldn't see through Jeff's car and through Patrick's car. And it was probably my first year racing. And, I don't like that, there's a dangerous situation. So that's the one that really sticks in my head. It's like, and if I had something in my car, and I wrote it all up. I wrote up this whole 2-page sheet on how it should work. It's like, it needs to have GPS. It needs to be radio based. And I mean, I wrote up the whole thing. I said, based if it's got the knowledge of where the flag is, this thing could turn on right at the start finish line, letting me know that there's a flag down there in 1. Even if I'm behind 7 or 8 cars, or let's say weather conditions are bad. Let's say it's raining. You're just following a bunch of, spray in the air. So that's the one that kind of sticks out. So yeah, there's a waving down there in 1, and I didn't see it. Yeah, and I'm sure there's many of other flags that I've missed too. There's plenty of times that I drove around, and I was like, ooh, like I see a car there, but I don't remember seeing a flag. I hope I didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? So, so those are the things that stuck out to me.
Yeah, my only concern. So first off, I know there's people out there that are going to say, oh, implementing a system like this makes them more reliant on the system and not the flagging station. Or they're going to try to eliminate flaggers. And really, you still need the eyes there. You need that person to make the decision. But the only hang up I see, because I don't feel that it replaces you looking at the flagger station. What I think it does is it helps you ensure that you catch the flag. The trick is going to be, because the CCR says essentially you can race until you're perpendicular to the yellow of the flag station or something like that. I don't remember from my test. I probably...
No, that's correct. Well, it depends on which group you're running with, but yeah.
Right.
There's slight differences between... There's actually slight differences between a NASA Mid-Atlantic and a NASA Great Lakes, but I'm not going to... Of course, there's a difference over to SCCA and BMW Club. Right. But go ahead with... I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So if I check up early, somebody could run past me. I get it.
Well,
so you always have to be cognizant of the rule. And
right.
And that rule,
the rule book.
And the rule is based on the physical flagger.
Right. I just had a meeting with the head of the National Rules Board of, let me just say, a major racing organization in the country. Okay, the biggest in the country, and they were hung up on that too. And I said, we have run this system with so many groups. All it is a heads up device. It is not the rule. It is to let you know that there's a waving yellow up there. Then follow your rule book, right? Follow your rule book. This just gets the driver to look up and see it. Because that incident, whatever they're waving the flag for, could be 5 feet past the corner worker, right? So,
right.
This is so that somebody doesn't charge in there without ever seeing the corner worker. I had the privilege to meet Andy Lally at VIR one time, and I asked him if he would take a look at the system. And I said to him, I said, I know you don't miss flags. And he said, time out, stop right there. He goes, even the pros, he said, even the highest level of racing will get caught up in what they're doing and miss the corner workers. I think that right there tells you all you need to know about whether we need in-car flagging or not. So I know that was there's plenty of other pro racers that have missed flags that have cost them races and cost them pole positions and stuff. So Lewis Hamilton missed a flag during a qualifying, and that cost him the pole position. So the pros are missing flags. So what are the amateurs doing?
We're definitely missing flags. It happens every session. Argument. Every time a flag is thrown, right, or every session a flag is thrown, there's somebody that's going to miss it. I almost guarantee. Yeah. I mean, I'd have to talk to Jeff Hall about that, but I'm pretty sure it's a high percentage.
He would agree. Yes, he would agree. So I'll tell you this. So when the flagger goes off in your car, your in-car flagger goes off, and you realize you weren't seeing it, okay, and it makes you look up. It absolutely, it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. Okay, one, it's done its job. You've seen the corner worker, and then two, it's kind of like it's a learning device. It's like, hey, your eyes you're not looking up as much as you think you should be,
Right.
And I don't know how many times I've gone to a track from mid-Ohio to Pittsburgh to New Jersey to Watkins Glen, Indy. Specifically, I remember this guy up at Watkins Glen on Saturday morning. He's like, I don't have time to press a button. I'm busy waving my flag and calling on the radio. I'm not going to have time to press a button too, right? This is the first time he's ever seen the system. And of course, they all give us oh, you're trying to take our job away. Well, the little box that we put in the car, it can't see a window net down. It can't see a hood pin out. It can't see leaking fluids. It can't see, you cannot replace corner workers with an in-car box, flagging box.
They have to relay to race control. They know what happened, right?
Right. And they see all kinds of stuff. And then let's think about it after. Like, let's say you've pulled your car off and you're having a mechanical or whatever, right? I mean, our box can't tell if the driver is unbuckling, put the window net down, and is getting out and going over the wall. I mean, all these things that corner workers see and do. We could do a lot. We can do a lot. We can make them much better. But back to that guy at Watkins Glen, he, on Sunday morning, he said, I want to say something. And I was like, oh boy, here's this guy that wasn't happy yesterday morning. And he said, I work a corner that's tough to see up here. And I have a certain corner that I work all the time. And he's like, these cars are slowing down a good 100 yards, 150 yards earlier than they normally do. He goes, he's like, it's so easy to press the button. And I'm like, why do I not have a video camera running to get this? Why did I not have one running on him, Saturday morning and then Sunday morning? But I can't tell you how many corner workers, it's probably every time we go to a new track where one of them says, wow, this is amazing how the drivers are responding to us with this system. The lady who does the start finish line at Indy said the same thing. She's like, this thing is making those cars slow down. She's like, it's really working. So yeah, it won't replace corner workers. It will help them out. There's a real shortage of corner workers. I don't know if you know much, but I hear from the tracks all the time. Them getting corner workers to come in to work even major events, even at Indy, with big time events, they're having a hard time getting corner workers to come in. It's not what it used to be. Even in the SCCA, where they used to have 3 or 4 at the corners.
Corner. Yeah.
They used to have a rule that it was a minimum of 2 people per corner. They've even given that up, and they're allowing 1 person per corner.
Wow.
And so it's a real problem getting corner workers. And I didn't even realize it was that big of a problem until maybe, I don't know, about 3 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, we started seeing it and hearing it. But
yeah, I mean, anything to help them out on a corner allows them to be more aware and to relay the right kind of information and to slow things down appropriately and more quickly. And so, yeah, it's definitely a benefit to the corner worker. Yeah. And so now, and you've seen this. I know I've seen it too, but you'll look up at a corner worker. So now the in-car device has got you to look up and see the corner worker. And now you see that corner worker giving that other information. Like, you'll see them signaling, like they're waving a flag, yet they're saying, come this way, come towards me. So they're giving you a little bit of advice as to, like, get your car over here on the right-hand side of the track near me, because what I'm trying to keep you away from is on the left-hand side of the track. So now we've got the driver looking at the corner worker, and now that corner worker's getting that little bit of additional information to them. And you can tell whether if they're lazy waving a yellow flag, you're like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. But if they're going crazy with the yellow flag, man, this is serious. So there's all kind of body language that comes off of a corner worker that's important. So absolutely.
But yeah, so no, this doesn't replace corner workers. You still need them out there. And my opinion is, every time you miss one, I'll tell you one more story, but every time you miss one, it's like, I got it. It's a learning tool, in my opinion. It's not a crutch. And I pride myself when I beat flagger. Like, if I look so far ahead that, let's say at Summit Point, there's a waving down in 1, right? And they've got nothing at the start finish. If I catch it before my in-car flagger, I'm proud of myself, right? I'm like, oh, there's a waving in 1. when I get to that start finish line, I bet my in-car flagger is going to go off. Yep, sure it does. But I'm proud of myself when I beat Flagger. But when Flagger beats me, and I'm like, ugh, So, but one last thing. So, at the beginning of this year, we were probably on track together. On Friday evening, they had the dust off race. Were
I
you
don't do
in that
those.
event.
No, I don't. I was in the
Okay.
event, but I do not do the dust off races. Nope.
So I did. I was doing the dust off race, and I'm coming in the lower S's, coming up to the bridge at VIR, and I see a Specky 30 up there, and I'm like, oh, that's either Jack Cabetto or Chris Cabetto. I'm pretty sure that's Jack in the car. And I'm in my Specky 46, and Jack's faster than me. He would whoop me any day in the equal cars, right? But I'm like, I got a better car. I got a plan. I got a plan for Jack, So I'm gaining on him going up the S's. And I'm like, when I get to 9, I'm going to do the typical, I'm going to plant my car to the left, okay? And I am going to hold him out on my right for the blind left-hander 10 at VIR. I've got this whole plan worked out in my head, exactly how I'm going to pass him. And it's going to work. But I'm concentrating. I haven't been on the track in 3 or 4 months. I've got my head up my butt looking at the rear end of his car. And there is a car, which is very common at VIR for somebody to spin in 10. And but they had put a standing out at 9, and they had a waving at 10. And my flagger goes off, and it totally got my attention. I would say without it, I probably would have had my car side by side with Jack, going into 10. But because of flagger, it was like, pay attention. We got a standing here at 9. We got a waving here at 10. Then soon after that, the track went double yellow, which I got, and then code 35. So it was a fantastic event. And it kept me, like I said, in that incident from passing Jack under yellow. Even though it was a non-points, dust off kind of a fun race on a Friday night, it's still important. So,
yeah. So we got a little bit of insight into how it works, at least from the corner worker perspective. Can you give us an overall system? I'm sure race control has some master kill switch set up there.
Yeah. So up in the tower, we set up a computer, and we use these little Nook computers. And we run Linux, and they have a map of the track. And on the left-hand side is these global flags: reds, double yellow, green, code 35, any global flag that might be thrown. And hooked up to that Nook computer is something that we call the gateway. And it looks like what the corner workers have. But the difference is the gateway has these global flags. It's got a red, a double yellow. It's got the green, a checkered. And so, that gateway is what allows the Nook computer and the screen to hear everything that's going on around the track. We call it the ring. And let me talk more about the ring. So with our system, you could take one. We call them flag stations. That's what we give the corner worker. We call it a flag station. And you could take one of our flag stations by itself to Watkins Glen, and you could take one car up there, no other piece of equipment, okay? And you turn our flag station on up there at Watkins Glen, and it grabs GPS, and it says, "Oh, I'm at Watkins Glen." Okay, no problem. And I'm set to turn 1, okay? And you could take one of our in-car alerts and turn it on without doing anything else. It's going to say, "Oh, I'm at Watkins Glen, and I'm on track, and I'm going around the track." And you could take that flag station and press a waving yellow, and it's going to say, "Well, I don't hear any other," the in-car device, okay? It's going to be like, "I don't hear any other corners," which is weird, but I do hear one, and it's waving. So when I get to that start finish line, I'm gonna put out a waving for my driver to see it. And so there's a 1-to-1 connection, if you will, between the in-car and that corner one. Our system, which we have patents on in the U.S., the United Kingdom, and Australia, it's a mesh radio network. So think of it like mesh Wi-Fi. So if you have one out there, it works and it gets signals, for a certain area. But if you go out and set up another flag station at corner 2, well, then these two, they start hearing each other and they repeat it. And so the area gets bigger. The area of coverage gets bigger. Well, you just keep doing it. You put another flag, you send out another flag station with corner worker 3 and 4 and all the way around the track.
So
and
it's a mesh network.
It's a mesh network. It's a mesh radio network.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
And that's how it works. And so your car, as you and I are driving around the track, well, not without getting into too much detail, but I'll keep sticking with VIR as it's my home track. So it's about an hour and 45 minutes away from me. But if you and I are racing each other and we're at the start finish line and they set a waving yellow at turn 12, which is the second turn of Oak Tree. Okay.
Right.
Our cars immediately know it. And it doesn't show it to us at that point. We don't need to know. Honestly, it's probably going to clear before we ever get there. But because of the mesh radio network, our cars know it and they're paying attention and they're like, okay, there's a waving up here at 12 and they keep listening. And of course, if it's still there when we get to 11, it's going to show it to us. But as we've learned, most of the times the flag is cleared. There was a system a long time ago, and it was cell phone based. It didn't work, or it didn't work well, I should say. But the problem was it would give you a waving. Say in that example, it would give you a waving yell at say turn 12. Well, I know VIR. I know those turn numbers, but I've been to Mid-Ohio one time, and I've been to Watkins Glen. I've been to a lot of tracks and on the tracks like one time. Okay. So if you say to me, CMP turn 10, I don't know what turn that is. If you say, Mid-Ohio turn 9, I don't know which one that is. Watkins Glen turn 12. I don't know. It does no good to tell it's no reason to tell a driver, 7 turns before they get there that there's a waving yellow there. They don't need to know that. You don't need to interrupt their race. You don't need to distract them with that information. You just need to give the flag to them right when they need it, not any earlier, not any later. So, so that's how the corner worker, and the corner workers, let me get into that flag station a little bit more. It has a standing yellow, waving yellow, has a passing flag, a white slow vehicle flag, and it has a debris flag and a clear button. So there's 6 buttons on it. And it's as simple as what most corner workers are doing. They're standing there. I've worked some corners and I've been in a lot of corner booths in a quarter stations with them, watching them. They have a yellow flag in their hand almost the whole time. And they kind of see a car losing it. They can hear the tires. They can see that they're offline. They have a very good instinct if that person's about to lose it or not. And corner worker will literally kind of get ready, and they'll have their flag in one hand and they'll put their thumb on our waving yellow button and they'll say, yep, sure enough, that Spec Miata didn't make it. They're going off into the, off the right hand side of the track. And they kind of just press the button and wave the flag at the same time. And then their hands are free to call on the radio. Spec Miata 21 just went to the off driver's right and, mild impact with the tires, So the corner worker, and then when they pull in the yellow flag, they just press the clear button, the 6th button on there. One of the other favorite features of mine is the debris flag, because you race, I race. If I see a debris flag, I'm thinking it's probably rocks or grass or a splitter, and that just doesn't make me slow down. Okay, I mean, it's still 10 tenths racing. But if the corner worker presses the debris button a second time, it says fluids, and that's a totally different story. Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh boy, it's a wall. It's like
that's where you meet the wall when you have those.
Yeah,
rocks, dirt,
or
debris, regular debris, not a problem. But
right, exactly. Like I come through there 9/10, 10/10. I mean, I'm looking for it, but just in case it's a drive shaft or a tire on, on a wheel, something. But that it's usually a splitter, it's nothing that you really need to slow down for. But man, fluids is a different story. So if you press our debris button one time, you get debris, and if you set it a second time, it says fluids. And boy, and in that case, as a racer, I'm slowing down a lot. I mean, I'm going to tiptoe through there 5/10, just trying to get through. Probably oil is probably what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gas, but
you race in Thunder or something, but diff, trans, engine fluid, whatever.
Something from a damn Mustang.
Yeah, something with viscosity. So.
Yeah, I've been behind Mustangs before. That's like, I've got to get around this guy. The car stinks so bad. Like I'm getting a headache. I've got, but anyways, press the debris button one more time and it says animal or wildlife, so that, we will know, okay, there's a groundhog out here or a deer or whatever it is. So there's, and it really works. Up in Pittsburgh, specifically during an American endurance racing, they're like, oh, the corner worker put out the fluids flag. So I slowed way down and I got off the line. It completely kept me out of it. It was good. So that's one of my favorite advancements that we've made for flagging. And the corner workers love it. They're like, awesome. I mean, they love being able to give the drivers more information.
Yeah. I can see where that would be helpful. Earlier, a little while ago, you said there were other systems out there. What do you think, probably in addition to what we've just been talking about, sets you apart from your competition?
Our patented communication ring. Every other system, if you're going to go and you're going to set it up, you're going to have to put up repeaters around the interior. Okay. Right. There's a system out there that's available, much more expensive than ours, by a major company, and they have to set up, 6, 7 extra antennas all around the infield to make sure that everything communicates. And there's a competitor out there that also, it's, as far as the in-car part, it's a little less than ours. And, but again, same thing. You have to go around setting up these, antennas. So that's one of the biggest things. The other thing, I would challenge any of our competitors to, simulate a power outage in the tower. And what I mean by that is pull the power on your computer, or have your computer go blue screen of death, if you will, right? That's running your software. Like I already told you, we can take one flag station to Watkins Glen or whatever track, and with that in car, and it's going to work. Our system, our ring of communication continues to work. The tower can lose power. It doesn't need internet. It doesn't need, the tower could implode, and the ring of communication for the drivers is going to continue to run and continue to work. So, that's a big deal. You'd be surprised how many times, a tower has lost power during a race. And you don't ever want to see a safety system fail. You don't want to see it go down, right, and not run. So, right. So ease of setup, and the drivers might not see that, but the organizations see that. The organizations understand. There's some setup. There's, with our system, American Endurance Racing's been using it for a couple of years, and they take it with them everywhere they go. and they have a guy named Dave. And I talk to Dave, I don't know, every other month to see how things are going. It takes him about 15 minutes to set up our tower, and maybe it takes him, maybe an hour and 15. He likes to go out and just set the radios out at the corner stations so he doesn't have to give it to him in the mornings. And so in an hour and a half, he's set up everything he needs to do to make our system work. And at the end of the event, he'll just tell the corner workers to just bring that in.
Yeah.
Just bring it in with you on Sunday night. And he doesn't have to go running around the track, bringing in repeater towers or anything else. So ease of setup, ease of takedown. And I would just say reliability as far as the whole power outage thing goes. So that's really the things that make us different from the competition. And, we're all trying to do, I know that there's competition out there, and any good idea is going to have competition, Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited when they have success. I'm just happy for in-car flagging. I'm happy for racing, So I think that's the big difference between us and the competition.
I would be flogged by all the guys I race with if I didn't cover what the subscription is and what it gets you. What's really the benefit of the subscription system that you guys have? Because the barrier of entry is
we like
up.
To call it a service plan.
So
this is the
service plan.
But let me just say. Well, I mean, I get it. I'm paying $8 a month for my doorbell. You know what I'm saying? And we're all getting subscriptioned or serviced planned to death. My doorbell, and I'm lucky. I'm one of those people that doesn't have. I have an old transponder that doesn't have a subscription to it. Right? That irked everybody because we're not getting any additional benefit. Right? I mean, by having that service plan. So we like to call it a service plan because it truly is a service plan. So if you're in-car flagger, you get a yellow or a green line through the LCD screen, or you get an LED light that stops working for some reason, whatever it is, it's a service plan. Send that to us. And we'll send you we're going to send you a refurbed one or a new one, or we're going to send you yours repaired, right? And so you just pay for the shipping to us, and we'll send it back to you. I mean, it's a safety device. We don't want you to be out there with it not working,
right?
And then a couple other things. So if we didn't have a service plan, we would simply have to put the price of this product higher than it is. I mean, the price of the product is $299, and the service plan is $100 a year. And if we didn't have that, quite frankly, we would have to price it. I don't know much. I don't know how much higher that we would have to price it. Okay, but I want somebody that's scraping together, and it's coming and staying in a tent and scraping together. A car to be on track and is on a very limited budget. I want them to be able to afford to get a flagger, in-car alert, and put it in there, and they don't have to choke on a $800 or $900, $1,000 device.
Right.
I want it to be affordable for them to put it in their car.
Well, I'm the guy that sleeps in a tent. Still, I race. I sleep in a tent.
Yeah, okay,
it's fine. It helps save on the budget, and my car eats tires. So
yeah. I mean, it's an expensive hobby. There's nobody at the racetrack that's, in my opinion, there's nobody at the racetrack that's hurting. So, I want it to be affordable, and and lastly, we're constantly coming out with new software, new bug fixes, new features. And of course, we have to pay people to do that. And it's good for the customer, and it's good for the company. I mean, it's good that the company doesn't get all this money at all at one time, and we don't go blow it on race cars and toter homes, right? And
Right.
then the market's flooded, and then there's no money coming in because everybody's got a device, and all of a sudden we're out of business, and then somebody needs some service and we're not around. So
Yeah.
it's actually a benefit to the driver. Okay, my device cost me less in the beginning, and I'm trickling in money. I'm getting my device gets serviced if it needs it, and I'm getting all the updates. And lastly, that company is still there. They're still there when I need service, and the product continues to get, better, more features. So, I think that's the thing where that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was
think
just going to say
with transponders.
Right.
I mean, they started charging us for the transponders, and the transponders weren't doing anything additional. Like there was no additional benefit. It's just like, well, I'm just being charged annually for.
Well,
for
now
what?
and you can you can buy a non-service plan transponder again.
Right. They
it's like they needed some.
That.
Well, it was almost like they needed some fluid money coming through, and now they're like, okay, the revolt is over, so maybe we go back. I don't understand it, to be honest. Or they're waiting for everybody who bought a subscription service plan transponder to then now buy a new one 2 or 3 years after they bought the old one.
Or it's like the GoPro model, like the GoPro thing. It's like, okay, I got a GoPro 3. Oh, well, now I need to buy a 4 because I want those features. Oh, now I need to buy a 5 because I want those features. I mean, that would be another approach that we could take, but I don't like that at all. I don't know how many GoPros I've had in my life, but
I refuse. They're garbage. They're terrible
so hard to
products.
Work.
Yeah, they work half the time when you do it the right way. It's a terrible product.
Yeah, but I hope I've answered that question.
Yeah. I just sort of have a follow up because I'm cheap and stingy. So if I buy the flagger, it's I don't. Would you say $299 plus $100 for
$299 plus?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, if you go online, you're going to spend $399 to get
right.
To get going.
$399 and then mount or hardwiring. Anyway, say I don't renew it. Does the device go dead if I don't keep subscribing to the program?
Yeah, we've been discussing that. You really have to keep paying because with the updates. Let me give you an example. Our next update, okay. Our in-car has just been receiving flags, okay.
Okay.
Everybody that's been using one, it's not been sending off any information. Well, with our next update, we're at 1.99 right now on our software version. With our next one, it's going to be like 2.10 or something, and it's going to begin to transmit. So, it's a two-way radio. When you look at the little antenna on there, it's a transceiver. Right. Okay. So basically what it says is, I've come to a stop. I was just going around this track is still hot, and I have just spun and come to a stop right here. And what it does is it starts transmitting its location and the group number and the car number so for me, it'd be like Specky 46, car number 770, went off into turn 1 right here, no impact or a 2G impact or whatever it is.
Right.
So to your question, currently, yes, we force you to continue to keep the service plan going because we really need you to keep updating your software.
Right.
I'm not going to, we have had conversations about, we've got to keep everybody updating their devices and putting, bug fixes in.
It's going to lose functionality over time. I understand the software development processes and, the impacts and the cascading.
Out there driving around. Right. We don't want Khan out there driving around, and we're counting on that if he, if you spin out or you hit the wall or whatever, like,
God forbid,
we don't want to be counting on that you're running, the latest software. So,
right.
So yeah, it is a way that we force everybody to do that. I think there's lots of value in it. I think that it's $100 a year. A couple people told us they thought it was $100 a month. And I was like, holy smokes, no, it's that's $100 a year, which right, yeah, that would be no, but it's like what's that breakdown to, like $8.33 a month or something. But it makes it, I think that the value is there in the service plan and the updates and making sure that everybody's got the latest software, that they're, new functionality. Let me give you another example that's coming out. So code 35, right? Currently code 35, it's just showing you that you're under code 35. Well, with the new update for these people that don't have speedometers and whatever else have you.
That's me.
Okay. Well, now you're going to have something in your car that shows you how fast you're going.
Well, that's great. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because my final drive is going to get even crazier this year, and my speedometer will be even farther off. So, well,
this is GPS at 50 hertz. Okay, 50 hertz is what we run at, and so it's going to, if you go under code 35, the lights are going to light up. You're going to see code 35, and then what it does, if you start going a little too fast, the lights on the side, the LEDs light up yellow. And if you start going way too fast, they start lighting up red. And so it's like, kind of saying, hey, slow down,
So with the additional functionality, you're adding that it's a two-way, would it ever transmit that you've gone in the red?
It absolutely can. And, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. It is going to report people who violate. I won't tell you I'm not going to give it out. I'm not going to tell you what I'm not going to, because racers are racers, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
We've all been playing the game for years, ever since Code 35 was invented. It's like, put your car in fifth gear. It doesn't sound like your car's going that fast. But absolutely, because the endurance groups have been asking for it, because they take Code 35 with them and they want everybody doing 35. And so there absolutely is it knows when you violated it, and there is a point where it finally will report where you were and how fast you were going. So, okay, it's it's an enforcement tool.
Yeah.
Now, in a group that, in a group that it's not mandated, but is using it, like NASA Mid-Atlantic, it won't be used to punish those that have it in their car. Okay. Right. So
that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, it would only if it was like, hey, everybody has to run it. It's mandated. Well, okay. And now we have code 35. Okay. Now Jeff Hall can have a talk with you when you come off the track, right? They will send you a message. They will say 770, go see the steward, right? There's some really cool after race features in there. So like we're not using them completely at this point, because not everybody has one. Of course, I wish they all did, but like there's a go to scales, there's a go to dyno, go to the steward, go to tech. So Xavier Calderon, in charge of Spec Miata, can say, I want the top 5 to go to dyno today. And so they're coming off the track, and we can send a message to those 5 cars, go to dyno. And Evan Levine, in charge of Spec E46, can say, I want everybody to go over the scales after qualifying. And so they can go Spec E46, all, send a two scales flag to the whole Spec E46 group. So there's some really cool stuff. But yes, it absolutely.
All of Thunder, go see Jeff Hall.
Yeah, exactly. All of Thunder at 12 o'clock, see Chris Cabetto at
Right.
the awards, whatever, so he can chew your asses out.
I've witnessed it. I was buying ice, and you guys were getting chewed out. So
Yeah,
I'd hang out and listen.
That group.
Yeah.
I've been in that group.
So we're a little bit over an hour, and I think the last thing the audience would like to hear, or maybe some quick examples of how you think this product could help make them faster.
Well, so there's a ton of data devices out there, right? I mean, you can get yourself an aim system. You can get yourself what's the new thing from the one with the camera? The Catalyst. Thank you.
That's what I run.
I really want to try one. I really do. So, yeah, there's a lot of things out there. I would say I'll tell you where Flagger comes in. If you're out there and you don't have a spotter with you, if your wife, girlfriend, friend doesn't spot for you, green flags, Flagger acts as your spotter for you. And so I can't tell you how many people have been like, oh man, at that restart, we were under double yellow and, I got the green and saw the corner worker bringing it in. It gave me, so, it can make you quicker in that way. Do you know Shaq Daddy by any chance?
I don't.
He's a Specky 46 racer. I watched him pass under double yellow. Double yellows came out and he just didn't see it and get DQ'd. And I was talking to him one time and he's like, Flagger's just keeping me from being DQ'd. He goes, it's just saving my, I've got a solid third place going, and he's like, it's just keeping me on the podium. So
you have to have a finishing result for all those hot laps to count, and you don't get a finishing result when you blow flags.
Mm-hmm. And helping you restart. We do have some very interesting, I don't want to talk about it too much, but we have some very interesting training and AI coming up. We have 2 accelerometers in there, a 3-axis gyroscope, and the people that really know our company know us really well know that we have a lot of TrackMate DNA in us. One of our chief technical people was head of TrackMate. Have you heard of TrackMate before?
I'm familiar. When I was in the tech shed for NASA Mid-Atlantic, we had a slew of TrackMates that we put in cars for compliance. So I'm aware.
So we have a lot of data experience in our DNA, if you will, at Flagger. And so we're just we've been concentrating on reliably getting flags to drivers, a reliable, easy system to put out and use. And we're just starting to get to the point where we're using some of the other stuff. Let me go back and talk about the, if you open up a transponder, which you're paying, I don't know, what are we paying for our transponder now? Non-subscription. I mean, it's like $5.99 or $6.99.
Something like that.
You should bust one open with a hammer and take a look inside there. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing in there. And, I didn't know anything about electronics manufacturing 6 years ago, but I know a lot more now. You open one of those things, it couldn't cost them more than $35 or $25 to make one of those things.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, they're making a killing. And then go crack one of ours open, and
under warranty or under the
under warranty. But I mean, 2 accelerometers, 3-axis gyroscope, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, custom LCD touchscreen. I mean, when you open one of ours up, you'll be like, holy crud, there's a lot of stuff in here. It really is a deal at $299, even with the $100 service plan. It's a deal. But we're just starting to use those things, and we have some great features coming up.
Don't let all the cats out of the bag.
I'm not going to let them all out.
Proprietary good stuff,
But we have really cool stuff coming out this year.
Okay.
So, I hope I've answered all your questions about how the system works, and
absolutely,
I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you showing interest in flagging and recognizing that I really think it is the future. I think there's a day, like I said at the beginning of the program, where I think there's a day where it certainly for racing, and maybe even for DEs, when somebody shows up to a track with their, they got a used Miata or a brand new Mustang or a brand new Porsche 911, where they're like, okay, you got a helmet and a seatbelt, but we want to make sure you see flags, and we want to make sure that you that we know if you get in trouble, and we want to know how bad you get in trouble. Do you have a quick? Can I have 2 more minutes?
Go for
it. So, I told you about the one time I brought out the red flag, or I didn't tell you about it, right? So, I was at Summit Point, and I love the folks at Summit Point, but I came through turn 10 in a fun race on a Sunday afternoon, last event of the year, and I just lost it. Went off to the left, came back across the track to the right, smacked the wall really hard, and brought out the red flag. And I was nearly at the track out, if you know Summit Point. That's how far down I hit and spun. And they asked
pretty far down there.
It's pretty far down. And they were like, who's the president? Where are you at? What day is it? What's your name? What's your, they gave me like 5 questions that I answered, and they let me go. And I went back to my RV to sulk, about my car, which was really torn up,
right?
And figure out how I was going to get it. But I could have gone back to my RV, and I could have sat down, and I could have passed out, right? I mean, nobody knew how bad the G impact was. There was no report. So what I'm hopeful is that, they say, oh, that was let's say it's a minor impact and it's under 2 Gs, and they go, they give me the 5 questions, and okay, we're going to let them go. But say 2 to 5 Gs, maybe they would say, we want to observe you for 15 minutes. We want to make sure at 15 minutes, we want to take a look at your pupils and, just make sure you're okay. Right. And over 5G, maybe, 5G to whatever, to 10, we want to see you sit here for half an hour and make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to go back to their trailer, their tent, their hotel room, whatever, after an incident and pass out. It's kind of like concussion protocols and football and stuff. I hope that tracks start using, and organizations, sanctioning bodies start using this data that's available to them to say, let's use our medical expertise. Let's watch this guy for a little bit. So there, I got to tell you my story about the time that I brought out the red flag and why it's important to me, and why we have these accelerometers in here. One of them is set at 4 Gs, which is small, and the other one's 100 G accelerometer. So that lets us see the worst accident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, you don't want that one going off, guys.
No, you don't want to go, but the 4G lets us see. It lets us see, Honda Challenge cars that are bump drafting down the front. You know what I'm saying? It lets us go, oh yeah, they're bumping each other.
We never do that.
I know you and Spec Miatas don't do that stuff at all.
Never.
But and Mustangs don't spin, so whatever. But so the 4G lets us see the little things, and then the 100G lets us measure the serious impacts. So, well, I hope I've answered all your questions. It's been great talking to you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Until next time, keep working on yourself, keep working on the car, and let's get faster.